peace, divine love, and creation to the family. And within this video, I will be enlightening you and revealing the truth about the first royal family of Egypt. Ancient Egypt was founded and built on divine esoteric wisdom, as it was seen and known to be the balance between the heavens and the earth, the realm of spirits and the underworld, as Egypt was built and formed by the ancient gods, who was led and communicated through the king and pharaoh himself, Osiris. Osiris was seen and known for the leadership of his people. Osiris is the oldest son of the earth god Gabe and of the sky goddess Nut, as he was also the brother and husband of Isis and the brother of Seth and Nephthys. Osiris is the pharaoh of Egypt and known and celebrated for his transformation of the Egyptian culture, as the pharaohs were considered to be the divine intermediary between the gods and the Egyptians. The pharaoh was both the head of state and the spiritual leader of the people, as the meaning of the word pharaoh means great house, which is why Egypt was once and still is the greatest civilization known throughout the world, as the authority and leadership of the pharaoh reigned abundantly over Egypt, which helped it flourish abundantly, facilitating wealth amongst the land and the people of Egypt. As Osiris, the sole founder and primordial deity of Egypt, as Osiris is the first pharaoh of Egypt and also the god of the underworld and resurrection. Osiris led Egypt to its pivotal point as to creating balance and peace, which harmonized the scale of life. As depicted, Osiris was seen with green neuromelanated pigmentation before being mummified and resurrected into the underworld. Osiris was seen and known for wearing white and golden silk Egyptian clothing, draped with gold and copper around his neck and body. Osiris is rarely known for his depiction of being mummified, as to being wrapped in bandages due to the mummification and his resurrection into the afterlife. Osiris was seen and also known for carrying and possessing the crook and flails, as the crook and flails was a symbol used in ancient Egyptian civilization, as they were originally the attribute of the deity Osiris, as it became the insignia of the pharaonic authority, as the shepherd's crook stood for kingship, and as the flail stood for fertility of the land. As the crook and flail eventually became the representation of the pharaoh's divinity, it is also a symbol of their responsibility and the protection of their people, as it's also a sign of their dominion over the land. I also want to piggyback on one of my favorite movies that revealed a lot of the spiritual truth and artifacts that refers to the symbols of the pharaohs and their rulership over the land, and the gods and the spiritual essence that connects us between the ancestral realm and the physical realm. As the Black Panther was known as the king of Wakanda, who was meant to bring balance and lead his people to higher spiritual advanced technology. The etymology meaning of Wakanda means the great spirit and or the great mystery. In the British terminology, Wakanda means the worship of nature amongst the indigenous people. The true origin of the Wakandans and the Black Panther derives from the ancient mythology known as the Orishans, as the Orishans are the principal and spiritual forces that resides amongst the land and the force of nature and the elements. The Black Panther will be considered as the pharaoh of Wakanda, as the pharaoh is the seer and protector over the land and its people. Peep how the Black Panther and Osiris both forms and hold the X across their hearts. It's a symbol of destiny and a connection towards its truest source. It's a promise and an oath on the behalf of the gods and ancestors who came before them to protect the land and its people, as to restoring and bringing balance to both the spiritual realm and amongst the land. Osiris is seen holding and carrying the crook and flail to form the X, as the Black Panther just simply crosses his arms. The X is the symbol of source, as it's known as the X chromosome, which is divine feminine energy, also known as the Great Mother and the heavens above. The X chromosome is the birthing stone where all life is created from, as the pharaoh has the ability to connect to ancient ancestral wisdom that is connected within the genetics of source, which is Sirius X, the primordial source and interdimensional hub, where light is ciphered and is the true home of indigenous life and esoteric wisdom and knowledge of the cosmos, as the Y chromosome is masculine and represents the land and the abundant source of life, as to illuminating and directing light into the journey of the soul. The pharaoh will be the representation of the sun, shining and being the light towards the heavens and the land. Both the Egyptians and the Wakandans worship nature and its natural source that provides life, beauty, health, and all natural sources for our well-being. Even in Black Panther, they use the heart-shaped herb to tap in and ascend beyond the physical plane, connect connecting them to the ancestral plane and higher spiritual realms. As for the Egyptians, the most popular and known herb of Egypt is the blue lotus, as blue lotus is consumed and used in rituals and ceremonies for the elevation of the spirit, as to atoning into higher states of consciousness and connection with the divine. The blue lotus and the heart-shaped herb was a symbol of rebirth, enlightenment, spiritual awakening, and the cycle of life and death. The blue lotus was considered a sacred flower that symbolizes the sun, creation, and the afterlife. As Ra, the sun god, also known as the king of gods, who rises up into a celestial body, reflecting and shining light and vitality amongst the heavens above and the land and its people. This is in reference to and known as Ma'at. Ma'at originated in ancient Egypt and is a symbol of truth, balance, order, harmony, laws, mortalities, and justice. Ma'at is also a goddess who derives from the creation of the stars, heavens, and the seasons. As a counter opposite, Ifles, meaning injustice, chaos, and violence. The pharaoh is seen as a spiritual leader who is meant to maintain balance and order amongst both the spiritual realm and the physical. The moment when Osiris was betrayed by his own brother Seth, which shifted the balance between the heavens and the land, causing the scale of life to becoming unbalanced. Seth is known as the god of chaos and violence, and is the brother of Osiris, Isis, and Nephthys. Isis is the goddess of nature and the wife and sister of Osiris, as Isis knew and felt the disruption of the delicate balance of life shifting off scales. She knew that something had happened to Osiris, and as she felt disconnected from her husband, she began searching across the Nile River for the remaining pieces of Osiris. When Isis fully came to gather the pieces of Osiris with the help of their sister Nephthys, who helped Isis collect and search for the pieces of Osiris. As Anubis and Thoth helped Isis with the resurrection of her husband, Isis began sewing Osiris' body back together, as she began breathing the breath of life into his body, as Thoth, the god of wisdom and magic, gave Isis the words to restoring Osiris, as this led Isis to conceiving Horus, as with the help of Anubis, the god of mummification and the guardian of the underworld, as Anubis helped resuscitate Osiris, resurrecting him into the afterlife, making him the god of the underworld and resurrections. Osiris is loved by his family and his people of Egypt, as Osiris quickly became known for winning over the hearts of the people throughout the land. Osiris transitioning and resurrection into the underworld became the final judgment of rebalancing the scales of light. Osiris was seen as a beacon of light in both the underworld and the heavens, as to being the protector and leader of guiding lost souls who sought the truth within the journey of the soul, as Anubis, being the guardian of the underworld, would guide the lost soul into the heart, where its truth on how the heart was used before it could extend it to the heavens, where Thoth and Ma'at harmonized and weighed the heart on a scale and comparing it to a feather, as the heart must be as light as a feather, meaning that the heart cannot be weighed or tied down to burdens, sorrows, guilt, despair, grief, or hatred. If the heart was light as a feather, the soul would extend into the heavens, being freed and rebirth with the spark of life and creation within the journey of the soul. If the heart was not as light as a feather, then the soul would descend, plummeting into its own internal darkness, which is known as hell or Hades. Isis, Osiris, and Horus, also known as Aset, Asir, and Haru, was a symbol and representation of true love and the creation of life, as they are the original Holy Trinity. As true love between Isis and Osiris was rekindled and sparked throughout time and distance, which birthed their love into a child, a son, as the bond between a father and a son creates light, revealing true freedom and purpose for being and arising from the depths of the underworld, as the passion between father and son manifests into wisdom and the ability of foresight and determination in seeing beyond the realm of mortalities, as the bond between a mother and son sparks the passion of healing, protection, and duality on the journey of rebirth and enlightenment, as the love between a mother and son manifests the ability of true wealth and understanding of self and finding and nurturing the darkness of the soul, as this creates the balance between the heavens, mind, body, and soul, as Isis represents Virgo energy, true wealth and abundance and fertility amongst the land and its natural source, as Osiris represents Leo energy, true expression and creativity of truth, as the sun god Ra arises and shine light amongst the land and the heavens, as Horus represents Scorpio energy, true passion and the sacred creation of life, as to being the protector of the delicate balance of the heavens and the scales of life, which connects us to our true primordial source, as the eye of Ra represents the sun and its power of destruction, vitality, and life, as the sun also represents Leo energy, creative expression, as the eye of Horus represents healing, protection, and intuition, as the eye of Horus symbolizes the moon, which is ruled by the mother sign Cancer, which represents emotions, intuition, and self-healing, as the origins of the true Holy Trinity originated from Isis, Osiris, and Haru, which in turn represents the father, the mother, and the child, as this is the true source of creation, which symbolizes the Ankh, as the Ankh represents rebirth, creation, resurrection, life, and vitality. Peace to the gods. Like and share this video, as we will be diving deeper into the Egyptian astrology and revealing the truth of the gods. One love.